Hey guys, welcome back to another blog video. So this blog I'm actually going to be talking about why I have gotten into the IT industry. There's two areas where and that would be the computer repair and networking fields. Now, I did a blog about this, I do believe last year, to why my dream careers. But needless to say, it's been an interesting experience with computer networking. And with that, I really wanted to expand upon my knowledge. So, back in 6th grade, I really didn't know much about computer repair till when I was actually helping my grandpa out with some of the computer stuff that he had, like basically installing software. Because back before 6th grade, the only thing I could basically do was hook a computer up, install, and just do like a basic maintenance, such as just clean up and just defrag. Nothing special, something that everyone should know how to do. So, my 6th grade year, I wanted to learn a little bit more about computers. So I was watching the teacher use some of the software they had on the computer. They used Microsoft Excel. So, granted, I didn't have Microsoft Excel, and I didn't have Microsoft Office back then, but I also didn't hear about Open Office and LibreOffice back then, or Google Docs. Actually, Google Docs wasn't around back when I was in 6th grade. But I really didn't start getting into it probably about basically late 2006 into 2007. So, the YouTube channel that I had discovered that basically got me going more into the computer industry was a YouTube channel called 3D Game Man. So I started watching a lot of his video reviews, and I started soaking information up about computer hardware. And I think that's what has enticed me to the computer repair field. And it's something that's really enticed me. So I continue watching a lot of video reviews, doing research on computer parts, planning out gaming rigs, just something I can dream on, something to do. And I think that's when I really got into PC gaming as well. Because the old computer that I had back then was able to play some games, which is actually now one of my servers. MSA K8MM3-V, a AMD Radeon X1050, which was an ATI branded card back then. But I actually had a pretty good overclock on it, because I had a stock clock of 250 megahertz, and I was able to push that puppy all the way up to 500 megahertz. So I was able to double the core clock, which gave me a massive boost in frame rates. So then I also got the memory clock up to from 450 to 500, but I didn't have much headroom, seeing that the RAM chips didn't have any heat sinks on them. I love blueberry and pomegranate tea. And the processor I had was a AMD Sempron 3400 Plus for the it was from the AMD K8 series of CPU 754. I was also running Windows XP. I think it was Home Edition back then too, if I'm not mistaken. And I also had 512 megabytes of DDR 400 megahertz RAM from Kingston, and a WD Caviar IDE 80 gigabyte hard drive, which is actually still running. I've had that hard drive since 2003, actually. So that hard drive's been running since, well, it was actually a used drive when I got it, and it was manufactured back in 2001. So it's been going for about a good 13 years now. And I actually got the hard drive on January 8th, believe it or not. So that was my computer, and it was a generic micro ATX case, but the case that I was using could hold very long graphics cards. So if I get another tower, and if I decide to use my current server case, I can build a LAN party PC in it. The only downside was with the motherboard that I had, I wasn't able to do, but I was mostly in for the GPU. some of the games were quite fun. One of my main games was MapleStory and Shoot the Roach. And I still have Shoot the Roach, which I will have to play sometime. So, later in 2007, I discovered Tiger Direct. The actual Tiger Direct YouTube channel where Logan was his crazy self. And I tell you, that inspired me a lot. And then on Google Plus or Facebook, and we just talked about how much snow we got. So, and he's inspired me quite a bit to further into the field. And of course, his video reviews were very enticing. And my favorite clip of him, I think it was with the Diamond or VisionTech Radeon HD 3870X2 when he did the 2-word review. Oh snap! But I wished AMD would use the clear red plastic coolers. They actually look pretty nice. So I just wish AMD would bring those coolers back. Very good tea. So later on, I decided to continue on. Then, for my freshman year, I actually selected the parts for my rig, which I still have the same motherboard, 4 gigs of the same RAM, and I made a couple of upgrades over the time. So, Sempron at the time too, believe it or not, it was the Sempron 140, but I was able to get it up to 3.7 gigahertz. Then I had a 4670, which was a Sapphire Radeon HD 4670. I wasn't going to get a high overclock on that card, but it was a very quiet card, and I actually have it in my secondary gaming rig right now. But now I got to put it together myself, and the case I also used was a Logitech Area 51, which had a 480 watt power supply. But with me, I didn't know much about power supplies and Tech 600 watt power supply. Well, a year later, Spark, PSU was dead. So, I had to buy another one. Well, actually, my grandpa bought it for me. And that was a Raidmax hybrid 730 watt power supply. And that lasted me about good 2 years. Then I started to see sparks. 2 of the LEDs blew in the fan, but the power supply was still fine, but I was extremely skeptical, so now I have a Corsair CX750M power supply right now. But let's get back on topic. So, my 8th grade year, I really gotten into building my own computers, and I actually built some systems for some of my friends that wanted to get into the PC gaming. And even the computers was quite interesting, but however, I did not know how to install an operating system. I literally did not know how to install an operating system. So, of course, you know what I mean? I came close to screwing up their systems. But after watching a couple of guides on Tiger Direct, I was able to straighten that problem out. So those guides on Tiger Direct were pretty good back then. But I don't watch much of Tiger Direct's videos anymore because lack of detail. So, later on, my computer happens to break down. It turns out, the graphics card that I had before my X1050 was an NVIDIA GeForce 5200 FX. That card just completely died out of the blue, and then that's when I got my ATI Radeon X1050. It's about equivalent to the Intel X3100 chipset. Very crappy chipset, by the way. I can just barely play Portal 2 on my laptop. Well, getting back on topic. It's something that really enticed me, and I actually figured the problem out. And it was definitely the GPU, because I was stuck with the onboard video for quite some time, and it wasn't the best of integrated videos. And I didn't want to use my system RAM, so I talked to my grandpa, and he gave me his old AMD X1050. I should say ATI, because it was ATI back then when I got that card. But I don't have that card anymore because I put that in a friend's computer because it needed some better graphics horsepower for playing the Sims games. And my friend enjoying that card, and it's still being used too, and it's still alive. And I also had an N-Light 300 watt power supply, which is still going good too in my friend's computer, which is a E-Machines W5052 or something like that. But my freshman year, as I mentioned, I built my new rig. And then when I got to my sophomore year, I went to a seminar for the BOCES tech programs. So I decided to browse through to see what they had. And I noticed that they had Cisco Networking Academy. And seeing as I wanted to go into the IT field, because I actually started researching colleges my sophomore year. But I didn't find Schenectady County Community College until my junior year. So it was something that I could look forward to, because I was debating between Corning Community College or Schenectady County Community College. What enticed me to come to Schenectady County Community College was the tuition, which was only $1,600 for New York State residents, which is actually a pretty good deal. And I'm getting some damn good education, if you ask me. And granted, it's not in the best of areas, but I'm close to Albany. I'm also 2 hours away from Logan. I'm not going to say his exact location. Don't tell him I said that. So, yeah. It's definitely something that I would continue on. And I decided to try the computer repair and networking certificate that they have. But then basically what got me going was BOCES, because I decided to join with the Cisco Networking Academy program, and I was actually enjoying it. I think my favorite moment during that day, when we had a competition with troubleshooting desktop computers, juniors versus seniors. Guess who won? The juniors. We took the seniors by storm, thanks to me. Because since I already had prior experience with troubleshooting computers and also had a lot of different mishaps happen to my computer, and I was able to fix a lot of the problems, between my mom's laptop, my sister's desktop. My sister seems to think she knows more than I do, but it's the other way around. And I remember that at one point in time, my sister wanted to pursue in the networking, in the computer field somewheres, and I beat her to the punchline. So, I'm enjoying it. That money's supposed to be good, too, in the networking sector. Because, this is probably going to be a rough average, but entry level is just $75,000 a year for entry level. Which I find is actually pretty good, but it depends on who you work for, so needless to say, results may vary. But to me, I wouldn't mind taking a $50,000 a year job in the networking field. It's been one of my passions since 2007, 2008. So yeah, it's just really gotten into my blood. And my cousin Jerry, I used to go down to his shop quite often when my mom would go down there, and I would often help him organize the shop, and he would teach me a few things about the computer repair field. And that's something that's really enticed me even more. So, when I did my internship for BOCES, I decided to do the internship at the high school. So, this is the sad thing. I knew a lot more than the school techs did, which is very sad. So, needless to say, I was a big help. Although the school techs aren't certified, but they did know a fair amount of information. I was able to learn from some of it too, believe it or not. But the school techs are excellent people, and I got along with them great. I just wanted to help out. So, getting back on the topic, BOCES definitely helped me out, but some of the things I really sucked at were static routes, variable length subnetting, and IP static routes. So those were the areas I need to redo. And I figured, it seems I had the Internet Networking Fundamentals credit, I got skipped that class, and I'm in the Routing Fundamentals class, and that's where I'm going to be picking back up from BOCES. And I really enjoyed my time at BOCES. I learned a lot, and I even got to be a student teller at Corning Credit Union. I did enjoy that, by the way. You know, I'm thinking about applying at some credit unions one of these days. By the way, I have a Starburst. My hand first. Very good. But yeah, that's what basically got me going was, number one, it's in my blood. Number two, it's caught my interest. And you know, when something catches my interest, I'll put my best foot forward. So for many of you who are looking into a career in the IT industry, some areas to check out will be the computer repair and networking. But the computer repair field is a slowly dying field, but still has plenty of money to be made. But networking is growing very rapidly, because with the new technologies coming out, you best get into the networking field. And that's where I'm going to, because jobs are plentiful, because you can be in many different areas, because wherever a networking engineer is needed, the employers are willing to hire and pay good money, keep their networks up and running, secured, and just going pretty good in general. I think I have an orange flavor. Yeah, orange one. So that's basically how I got into the computer field, and that's basically why I wanted to go for it. It's because it's been one of my passions. And also, to keep on note, I also took time on my schedule to work at a local computer shop called Bitbucket. And of course, I recently found out that the owner of that shop was actually my cousin. Well, this was before I started. So I figured in April, work through the summer, gain experience. Easy peasy. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this blog. If you have any questions for what job field you want to be in, just post it on Tech Syndicate. There's a lot of people on there that will be able to help you. And don't forget to rate and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, which is SkullAbyss. Twitter, at SkullAbyssOC. I also have a SkullAbyss Facebook page. A lot of that will be in the description, but I've got to get that updated, get the Instagram added in as well. And I'll be posting random pictures on Instagram from here to there, so keep updated. You all have a good night.